Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. How are we doing? Today's video is going to be a movement tips and tricks tutorial video. We're going to be covering things such as snaking, dive hopping, the fastest way to get around the map, and much more. So make sure you guys stay to the very end of the video because every part of this video is going to be valuable, hopefully. If you don't want to spend 15-20 minutes, however long this is going to be, watching this, feel free to check it out. Check out the comments down, the content down below, and skip to the part which you find most interesting. But without further ado, let's crack on into it. So the first thing we are going to be covering is snaking. So this is basically where you see people ducking and diving behind cover. So for example, let's see if we can find a heady here. Let's just take this heady here. So it's basically, this is what it looks like. You're popping up. You can, for example, someone's there. You're snaking, beam in, like so. And from the other team, they can't really show that. It's a very valuable method of movement. And the way to do that is, first things first, you want to lie down, and then you sprint forward slightly. Lay down, sprint, lay down, sprint, lay down, sprint, and move forward. It's as simple as this, and it makes it so that you don't want to go all the way down to the floor every time. It's too slow, but you want to start the animation of snaking. As soon as you see that hand come away from the gun, that's when you want to sprint, and you want to get into the rhythm. It's worth practicing the private match beforehand. You can put a couple of twists in there if you want, if you're checking different angles. But generally speaking, this is how you want to snake. As soon as that hand comes away from the gun when you're prone in, you sprint, and once you get into that rhythm, it's good to go. As I say, I'd recommend doing that in a private match just to get warmed up, and that probably goes with any of these things that I cover in this video. Jump in a private match, give them all a try, and see how you get on yourself. If you do have any questions about anything I'm going to mention, feel free to drop it in the comments. I do try and respond to all of my comments, so make sure you guys do that if you have any queries. Moving on to dive hopping. So dive hopping is a nice tool to be able to get in and out of cover quickly. Obviously, the regular diving is as shows. However, it can reduce the amount of time to get up. So, for example, if I wanted to dive across here, say if I wanted to dive into this room, sort of thing, there's quite a long delay. So, jump in, and then I'm up. It takes a while. Dive hopping, however, is jumping onto sort of some sort of cover. So anything relatively low. You can't be too big. But something like this is perfect, or any window sills do the same sort of thing. And you basically, when you dive, you want to make sure that it's almost like your character's knees are hitting this cover. What it would look like is so, and you're straight up. So you manage to get the evading maneuver by diving, but then you're straight into the action straight away with your gun up, rather than this, and then you're up. It takes a while to do, and literally the way to do that, start diving with your knee onto the border, and then you're really good to go. And then as soon as you get a left trigger after that, happy days, and you're ready to get back into the action. So that's a vital one to use. You can use it on several different areas, but you've got to be careful where you do it. So for example, this windowsill might work. Oh, that's a slide. This windowsill might work like so, whereas if we were to do it like a dive, I'm down for a while and I'm not back up for a long time. Well, I say a long time, it's about a second, but in this sort of game, every second counts. Now, another thing I want to mention is the fastest way to move around the map. In this game, it's with a knife, and as you can see, you get double tack sprint with a knife, and this goes with, whilst you can't see your gun, so hang on, let me reset. So at the moment, you can't see my fist or my knife, and then the tack sprint disables, and you end up running to regular sprint. To reset this sprint to tactical sprint, all you need to do is melee. Melee, and then sprint again. Like so. This also works with a pistol, so let me show you guys with it with a pistol. If I'm running around the map with a pistol, you see the pistol comes down a bit. You melee, and it goes back to tack sprint. Melee, goes back to tack sprint quickly. It's not for long, but it does, if you're trying to make a rush route, it's worth doing just to get a little bit of tack sprint back, and that is the fastest way you can move around the map. So, next thing we're going to be doing is just a general guide to diving. There's a lot to mention with diving. Obviously, what I have, my diving movement setting is on inverted. So basically what this does, I play on tactical as well, so my right stick is my dive, lay down, crouch, that sort of thing, whereas B or circle is going to be your melee. I've got it on inverted, which basically means I only have to tap my right stick to dive. However, if I want to slide, I have to hold it. Now, I would not recommend sliding in any circumstance. It doesn't help you whatsoever in this game. Diving is the sort of meta movement to have, and it's really useful to get around the map and be evasive. So that's one tip I would suggest. What I would also suggest is when you are trying to do a dive, if you flick your camera, like so, you do end up diving quicker. It's like strafe diving, such. And doing this also, you can sort of check cover. So say, for example, say this door was open, I want to check if someone was there. I would dive across and then chow like so, or like so is the other way. Because what would happen is they wouldn't see you. So basically, if they're pre-aiming this, you don't really want to just go running in there like so. Oh, there's someone here. What you want to do is check the cover like so, and that's a nice way of just checking it. What you will notice is what I'm doing here is I'm bringing out the knife to dive, and that's because you dive faster and have a quicker recovery with the knife when you dive. So you can see I've dived quite far there, whereas if I was to do it with the standard, with my sub out, it's quite a lackluster dive, not quite as good, but the knife makes it a little bit more mobile. Next thing I want to cover is water jumping. So this is why we're on Hydro. It's a very useful tip for Hydro. I did cover this in my map guide. If you want to check that out, feel free to check it out. It's in the playlist on the channel. I've got a couple of map guides already out, so feel free to check any of them out. There's some good little tips in there. So getting out of water, this is what it would look like regularly. So say you're coming out, you melee, you mantle, sorry, and then it takes you a while for your gun to come up before you can chow. So this is what it looks like. You're coming up, you come up, you mantle, and then you're here. You want to start quite deep here. You don't want to be aiming to mantle up the ledge. You want to be coming up a little bit before, like so, and you're good to go, just like that. That's how you do it. So yeah, hopefully you find that useful if you're ever on Hydro. The next thing I want to sort of cover is shouldering. Now, this is the thing that has been in COD for years, and it's something that I would always recommend doing in any sort of situation. But it's mainly useful when you're sort of entering a building or you're trying to check something. And it's essentially a way of checking an area without fully committing to it. So say, for example, if I wasn't sure if someone was... There's a hard point in here, P5. Say if I wasn't sure if someone was in here, I wouldn't just strafe like this. It's a little bit silly because they are going to be able to see my shadow. They're going to know I'm here. So what I'd initially do is just a little bit of a strafe, like so. It's very simple. It's better with a knife because you can in and out a lot quicker, and you can do a similar thing here. Just check there, like so. It's basically just shouldering, chucking your shoulder around the corner to check something. And the way I'm doing this right now is just by rotating my left stick round and round. And it's the best way to do it. Similar to example, if I want to check if someone's coming here, and if they are, you can then chow. Yeah, nice little shouldering technique just to make sure you check an area before you push into it. The next thing I want to be able to do, it sort of comes with, you'll see a lot of people, it's not quite shouldering, but it's jiggling. So say, for example, I'm holding this angle, I know someone's here. You'll see a lot of pros or a lot of good players jiggling here. Now, the reason they do that, and it's basically just moving their left stick left and right, and the reason they do that is to maintain aim assist. If you are not moving your left stick, you are not getting aim assist. So if you're wondering how you're getting shit on, why your aim was crap, if someone runs through here and you're a bit whiffy, your aim's a bit windy, it's because you're not moving your left stick. Your aim assist will not work unless your left stick is moving. That is as it is. It's been that way for COD for a couple of years now, but it's worth noting because a lot of people still don't know it. So yeah, that's why you see a lot of people doing this when they're just holding an angle, because it makes their aim assist work, essentially. Next I want to cover is drop shotting. So drop shotting has been around since the OG days. I remember playing COD 4 back in the day, and drop shotting was the meta then. And it's basically, as I say, I run on tactical, so my right stick is crouch and lay down. It's basically just shooting while you're lying down. That's the simplicity of it. It catches other players out. So say everyone here, someone's here, lay down while you're shooting. They're not gonna read it every time. You don't want it to be the meta thing you do every gunfight, but it's in certain situations you want to do it. There's one situation in which it is very useful, and that is when you're challenging a corner out. So let's say, for example, I know someone's here and I want to chow them. If I drop around the corner or drop around the corner like so and chow, they're not going to be expecting this. It's a disgusting way. If someone knows you're coming, chances are they're not pre-aiming. So for example, if that was me, if I'm pushing this hill and I'm looking like this, I know someone's on the left here because I've just seen them. I'm pre-aiming this. There's no way I'm going to be pre-aiming the bottom like this. So say for example, someone knows you're here. Instead of channeling like this, you just drop shot. Drop shot around the corner and kill them. They're not going to be expecting it, and the chances are they're not even going to see you coming. So yeah, next thing I want to cover is jump shotting. So back in the past couple of CODs actually, the past couple of recent CODs, maybe not Cold War, bunny hopping was a thing, which basically meant that when you jump around a corner, you could propel yourself into another jump. That is still sort of viable in this game. It's nowhere near as good as it used to be, but when you carry around a corner, strafe, jump, and jump again. Somewhat bunny hop, but nothing ideal, nothing compared to what it used to be like in Vanguard or the CODs before that. And it's just another way of making sure that you're being unusual, basically. Your movement's got to be as hard, as weird and as wonderful as you can think about, so that the enemy can't shoot you. Say, for example, you're running in. It's another sort of impromptu movement within gunfights as well as drop shotting, which you can do. Another viable option is jump shotting around corners, like so. Someone's there, dead. You know, those sort of things. If I was channeling Hill here, jump around the corner. They're not expecting it. Yeah, it's just another way of engaging teammates and enemies, in a way that they won't expect, and does offer you a little bit more of an advantage pushing into hills and winning gunfights at the end of the day. That's what we're here for. I think that's pretty much going to do it. If you guys want to know what my controller settings are, feel free to check them out in the previous couple of videos. I think it was 2 videos ago. All my movement settings are in there if you guys want to check that out. But generally speaking, it's not a very advanced game with regards to movement, so there's not really too much else to cover. But if there's anything else you want me to do a tutorial on, or you want me to go into more information on, so for example, if my snaking tutorial wasn't quite as in-depth as you want, let me know and I'll try and do a separate video to it. But I hope I've covered everything without it being too monotonous for you guys. So yeah, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.